Hey, what's up? I'm Basil Barrington, and I am back with another video talking about the Sony ZV-E10 II. This is what I'm shooting on right now. My lens is a Sigma 16 milli, f1.4. You gotta love that, you know. But anyway, I wanted to just talk about what I'm doing here with the camera today. So, what's happening is the video footage you're seeing right now is being shot on Ecamm Live. And how am I doing that? I'm doing that by, well, you can do it two ways. Let me explain both ways you can do that when you're using the software like Ecamm Live or OBS or any of your other sort of streaming softwares. So first and foremost, you can just use a supercharging USB-C cable or a Thunderbolt cable, plug it up and then hit live stream, and then you're able to stream in 1080p and 4K. And I was doing that and I was trying it, but it seemed like there was a crop factor going on. And I was like, Another way you can shoot live stream or whatever, right, is using a capture card. Right now I have an Elgato Cam Link. I'm gonna go here though, wait a minute. There's some stuff going on here. Okay, as you can see, I have the Cam Link right there. It does get a little hot sometimes, you know, but it's warm right now. The connection here is a micro HDMI. So I'm using the micro HDMI cord that I bought from Amazon, and I'm plugging that into the CamLink 4K, and then I'm using an adapter so that it can go from USB-A to USB-C. And so I like this a lot better. I don't have to like fiddle around with like telling the camera that, yes, I want to shoot in live. You just plug it up, and then all of these different softwares recognize the CamLink 4K. So that's pretty cool. The other interesting thing about using, I'll just say this really quickly, Ecamm Live is sometimes when you are using it, the image comes through slightly darker. That's what I've noticed anyway. So a lot of times, you know, you just have to boost up your lights, but I don't want to boost up my lights. My lights are already at a very high brightness, but they're pointing in the opposite direction away from me, so I'm okay with that. Let me show you what this looks like because I'm also using, now check this out, right? So I'm using the Sony Imaging Edge desktop. This is the software that they're using, and it's completely amazing that Sony has given us a software like this. This is the company that makes the PlayStation, right? So it's just like, come on, we got a software like this. But anyway, so I did plug up a USB-C cable, right? Regular USB-C cable, so that I can shoot remotely, or at least have the ability to control my settings remotely. So that's plugged up. But I also have the Cam Link plugged up in the HDMI, the micro HDMI port. So I'm able to use both, and I'll show you how that's done. Let's just go here. Okay, so you gotta excuse the desk, okay? So there's the camera right there, right? That's the camera, and I do have a microphone on top of it. I'm also shooting this here, right? I have a microphone here. And there is the Rodecaster Pro 2. Just to give you like a bigger desk view, that's what it looks like. I am going to do a full review of my studio space, but I do have to sort of clean things up. But as you can see here, I have a USB-C cable there. I have the micro HDMI cable coming down here, and then it is right here, and it's coming in here. And then there is the cable going up here and over the microphone and right there. So that's how everything is looking, right? Sorry for the jitteriness of the camera. So that's how everything is looking. Now, let me show you the software, right? Here's the software. So this is the software. I'm gonna put some glasses on, I'm sorry. And I'm looking down because that's where the laptop is. You saw that in the B-roll I just showed you. So as you can see, everything is right here. You know, you get to control a lot of stuff. I love to have these like third grids on because, you know, it like centers me and I'm just like good to go with that, right? But as you can see, everything is right here. So I'm at 250 ISO, right? If I turn the ISO up to 320, you see how once I turned up the ISO, you know, things became less dark. Obviously, it's the ISO, right? And I'm turning it up. But that's what you may need to do when it comes to using Ecamm Live. Love the software. I've been using this for 3 years. I mean, I don't know if there's anything else better than this, right? So I really like it, right? But you can change everything here. You can change the ISO. Um, Obviously, you can change, the modes you want to shoot in. I'm shooting in manual mode. I know how to do that now, so that's pretty cool. You have your shutter speed and also your aperture. Aperture is staying at 1.4. Shutter speed has to be 1/50 because I'm shooting in 24 frames. So this is 250. And again, if I turn it up to 320, that still looks pretty good, right? But the software is, you get your stuff here. You got your white balance. My white balance is on custom 3200 Kelvin. You got your settings here. If you really nothing here, it's just like you really don't have a lot here. It doesn't give you access to all of the menu features, on the camera. So that's kind of weird, but that's what you have here, right? And I think probably one of the most important things for me is that I can control my main settings, my aperture, my ISO, all of that stuff, right? I can do that, so I'm cool with that. And if I wanted to change the mode, I can do that as well, right? So that is what this software looks like. It's a little janky. It's not the best software. I think Canon software, which isn't great, the new software that they have that they're charging you for a subscription on a monthly basis, it does look a lot better. But when you compare the Sony software and the Canon software, they're kind of the same, janky, right? But you do have the ability to download images like while still using the actual Canon app, which here you have to like, touch things, come out of remote mode and then go into like, download mode. It's a lot going on here. That's how I'm shooting in terms of the camera and, connecting it to my Ecamm Live. I was, testing this out today because I still use my iPhone when I have like client calls, right? But I don't want to. I want to start using this like $1,400 camera. That's total. That's the camera, the body, and also the lens. I got the lens for $384. I want to like start using this camera like full time. I mean, why, spend $1,400 on a camera and only use it to do these talking head videos, right? I did have the Elgato prompter, and I think I did return it as well because I was using it with an iPhone, right? But with the camera, I think it'll work. I think this here is the thread is 67. So the thread on the lens is 67. So there is a 67 milli thread when you're using the Elgato prompter. I like this setup. Everything is cool. I am going to like continually make videos talking about this camera because like I said previously, when this camera came out, you just saw a lot of vlogging reviews. It's just like, I still don't understand vlogging, because I would think that vlogging is sort of quick. So, you want to do your vlogging, then you want to post it immediately. And you can't do that with a camera. You have to like, not unless you connect your camera to your, social media. And I know there are some cameras that have software inside where you can do that. But I just think that if you're using a mobile device, you're just like, boom, you're walking, you're recording yourself, you're done, you're posting it to Reels, you're making a short, whatever. It's very quick. I mean, like imagine using TikTok as a vlogger with a real camera. It's not going to work. You have to like record and then go back home and then download the video and get it all right. And then, it's the phone is quicker when it comes to vlogging. I don't get this. It's like, why are you calling a camera a vlogging camera? It's not that quick. No, I'm not using a camera for vlogging. I'm using my iPhone for vlogging. It's quick. Once I'm done, I can post it as a reel. I can post it as a short. It's very quick. Back to the Sony ZV-E10 Mark II. I am loving this camera. Like I said, every day I like, just turn it on and just, if you have this camera, right? If you buy this camera and you're a newbie like me, because again, like I said, I don't know a lot about cameras. Weirdly enough, back in the day when I was growing up, I used to always buy 35 millimeter cameras from the pawn shops because you can get them really cheap. Go get some film when I was in New York and then just like, be in Central Park and just start shooting stuff. I love to shoot in black and white. And then you take the film to, the photography shop to be, developed and everything. It's, that experience was very cool. but I still didn't really know what I was doing, right? So now I have a real camera after like having 4 or 5 cameras. And I think that now that I have this camera, and anyone who's a newbie like me who has watched all the videos promoting this thing up the yin yang, especially when it first came out, those were all sponsored videos, right? So those people got paid and they were saying, hey, it's a great camera for vlogging, but they did not really get down to the nuts and bolts in terms of what this camera does, what sort of connections and cabling you need, to stream properly. Micro HDMI, do you need a capture card, your settings, this, that, and the other. So because of that, now that I have this camera and I really decided to put the work in, I come in every day. I'm in my studio. I do my work in here too, my client work. I come in here and I just record myself and I play with the settings and I see what looks good. Like for instance, right? I told you that the ISO is at 250 right now. But if I put it up to 320, I'm starting to see something slightly different. If I bring it up to 400, I'm starting to see something even more different. Even more different. And if I turn the ISO up even more, I'm like, blurred out, right? So, so I'm starting to realize that I kind of like the ISO right around 250, 320, depending on how I'm shooting, right? If I'm shooting just a straight talking head, I'm not using, Ecamm Live. I'm not recording anything into my computer. I'm recording right on the camera, right into the camera, then, it's 250. But I think if I'm using like maybe Ecamm Live, I would be okay if I shot this at an ISO of like 320. I think it'd be okay. Again, this is 320. This is 250 right now. This is 320. That's 320. That's not bad. That's not bad. I just don't want to like tick up my ISO all the way up. And as a matter of fact, in this camera, you can set your ISO, right? So I set my ISO at max ISO at 2500. I have the heat on. That's why, I'm blasting the heat because it's a little cold out here, in the DMV. And so, yeah, so I'm like, okay, so my ISO is maxed at 2500. I cannot go over 2500. I can select auto. Obviously, I'm not going to go over 2500. Aperture at 1.4, that's not going to work, right? I may have to turn my aperture up a little bit and then start playing with the ISO, right? But yeah, so the ISO is set. No one said that, right? Well, I'm not going to say no one because Gabrielle VIP. Like I said, if you want to bubble up on your Sony ZV-E10 II, go check him out and continue to check me out because I'm going to continue, producing videos about this camera because like I said, it just seemed like there was a lot of misinformation and missed information that a lot of these content creators did not speak about because they were sponsored, by Sony. So they got their, cake and they were like, boom, this is it. This is going to be a quick 7-minute, 10-minute video and it's done. And again, when the joint first came out and all the YouTube content creators were like talking about this, they were all talking about vlogging. We don't want to use this camera for vlogging. We want to use this camera talking head or outside taking photos with the kit lens, whatever it is, right? This video is being shot inside of Ecamm Live. So that's what it looks like here. And the ISO is still at 250. And remember, my aperture is at 1.4 and my shutter is at 1/50 because I'm shooting in 24 frames. So that's what that looks like. And that's what this looks like. And so again, I'm going to come back again. If I find out something new, I'm going to come back and make another video because I think it's very important to talk about this camera in a comprehensive way because it's kind of a good camera. But anyway, like I said, I'm going to come back, continue to create videos about this camera. And hopefully I'm helping you guys out. If I am, subscribe, hit the like button, hit the notification bell. And if you get a chance, go get some of my t-shirts. Go check out crossfadr.com, hit the shop. That's going to take you over to Amazon. And you can get a t-shirt in 2 days. And I have a few designs on that joint too. And I have some new designs that I will be uploading over the next few days. So go check it out, support the channel, and I will see you next time. Peace.